Squid Game, a series where childhood games turn into deadly nightmares. Each challenge forces players to battle fear, betrayal, and fate itself. Some tests were pure brutality, others played mind games, pushing contestants past their breaking points. But which game was the most terrifying? Today, we're ranking the most horrifying Squid Game challenges ever based on their brutality, psychological torment, and sheer nightmare fuel. And trust me, the last one is the kind of terror that lingers long after the game is over. The games will increasingly get more terrifying. Number 10. Dakji, the first test. Before the island, before the blood-stained arenas, the game had already begun, hidden in plain sight. It started in the most ordinary of places, a subway station. A flick of the wrist and a sharp slap of paper against the floor. At first, it seemed like an easy way to make quick cash. Win, and you earned a few bills. Lose, and you took a stinging slap to the face. But the real test wasn't the game itself, it was the slow erosion of control. Every slap wasn't just punishment, it was conditioning. Each loss chipped away at pride, turning hesitation into desperation. The moment they accepted that crisp bill, they had already crossed the first invisible line. What seemed like a harmless choice, money for pain, was the first step into something far bigger. A game where survival wouldn't depend on winning, but on how much suffering they were willing to endure. And if you think this was just an innocent warm-up, wait till you see what comes next. Number 9. Tug of War, the deadly drop. Losing here doesn't just mean falling to the ground, it means falling to your death. High above a deep pit, two teams grip the rope with everything they have, their lives hanging, literally, by a thread. The tension is unbearable. Hands tremble, feet slip, muscles burn, but giving up isn't an option, because the second their strength fails, the rope is cut and they plummet into the abyss. But the horror doesn't end there. Some don't die instantly. Broken, barely breathing, they lie in agony, waiting for the masked guards to arrive. And when they do, there is no mercy, no second chances. What was once a childhood game of teamwork and strategy has become a cruel fight for survival, where wit, desperation, and sheer willpower are the only things keeping players alive. But this next game, you weren't fighting against others, but fighting against time. Number 8. Pophogi, the honeycomb challenge. You either carve out the right shape or die. Sounds simple, right? Until you realize the honeycomb candy is so fragile that one wrong move means instant execution. The pressure is suffocating, hands shake, sweat drips, every tiny crack feels like a death sentence. Some panic and fail instantly, others hesitate, wasting precious seconds. The guards stand ready, fingers on the trigger waiting for the inevitable mistakes. Then there's Gi-hoon, desperate, terrified, and moments from losing. But instead of cracking under the pressure, he licks the candy, melting it just enough to free the shape. A stroke of desperate genius in a game designed for failure. But what happens when survival means betraying the people you trust the most? Number 7. Marbles, the game that broke us all. This wasn't even just a game, it was emotional devastation in its purest form. Players were told to pair up, clinging to their closest allies for comfort. But that comfort turned to horror when they realized the truth. Only one of them would make it out alive. Trust was shattered. Lifelong friendships and even marriages crumbled under the weight of survival. Some begged, some deceived, and others simply broke down. unable to play a game that forced them to destroy the very people they cared about. It wasn't just about winning. It was about watching hope die, one marble at a time. At least they had a choice. The next game forced 5 people to share one fate. Number 6. 5v5 playground games. This sounds innocent. Just spinning tops, stone kicking, and dice catching. Simple childhood games, right? But when the stakes are life and death, even the most harmless activities become pure terror. 5 players, shackled together, had to work as one. Every mistake, every hesitation brought them closer to elimination. The clock was relentless. Panic set in. The more they struggled, the harder it became. Some froze under the pressure. Others fumbled, their trembling hands betraying them. And when time ran out, there was no second chance. Every single one of them was erased in an instant. A brutal reminder that in this world, weakness isn't an option. This next challenge was even crueler. Only the fastest, most ruthless players would survive.
Let's go!
Number 5. The Mingle Challenge. A twisted game of musical chairs. If you don't find the right group in time, you're executed. The countdown begins and chaos erupts. Friends turn on each other, alliances crumble, and desperation takes over. Every second counts, but the cruel twist, even those who make it to a room aren't safe. With a limited number of spots, players shove, crawl, and fight to secure their place. The unlucky ones are locked out, left begging for mercy before the inevitable gunfire. And just when they think they've survived, the real horror sets in. If their group size doesn't match the required number, the room becomes a death trap. Mingle wasn't just a game, it was a psychological nightmare, forcing players to betray, deceive, and fight for a chance to live. For Mingle, your survival requires speed and luck, but what if you need a leap of faith to survive? Number 4. Glass Stepping Stones. A 50-50 chance. A matter of life and death. Step on the wrong glass panel and you're gone. The sheer unpredictability of this challenge made it one of the most terrifying. Each step was a gamble. The further you went, the higher the stakes. The earliest of players had no choice but to blindly take risk. Watching in horror as others plummeted before them. Those in the middle held on to false hope, praying someone else would clear the path. But for the final contestants, the real nightmare began. With time running out and no one left to test the glass, hesitation turned to panic. Every second wasted meant certain death, as the clock didn't just pressure them, it sealed their fate. And just when they thought they had survived, another cruel test awaited. Number 3. Squid Game. A childhood game turned into a brutal fight for survival. There were no turns, no second chances, just 2 men, a knife, and the weight of everything they had endured. This wasn't just about winning anymore. It was about settling every betrayal, every moment of suffering, and every life lost along the way. Under the cold rain, the arena became a battlefield, soaked in both water and blood. Every move was driven by desperation, one fighting to survive, the other two consumed by guilt and rage to stop. The rules of the game didn't matter anymore, as it was no longer a test of skill, but a test of willpower. Some games require skill while some require strength, but in this one, it's just pure luck. The Russian Roulette Challenge. This game is the purest form of terror. 1 bullet, 1 gun, and a fate left entirely to chance. The cold metallic click of the spinning cylinder echoes throughout the silent room, each rotation tightening the grip of fear. One of the trembling contestants swallows hard, eyes darting between the salesman's unwavering gaze and the loaded weapon in their hand. Click, click. Every empty chamber offers a fleeting moment of relief, only to be replaced by an even greater dread on the next pull of the trigger, until, boom! The deafening sound shatters the tension, sending a jolt through everyone present. A brutal game where survival hinges on nothing more than cruel luck. And finally, the most horrifying of all, the red light, green light challenge. The moment that defined Squid Game. What began as a harmless childhood game turned into a massacre within seconds. Hundreds dashed forward, some laughing, until the doll's eerie voice rang out. Red light, they froze, expecting a simple challenge. Then, gunfire. Bodies hit the ground, blood pooling in the dirt. Confusion turned to terror. This was no longer a game because one twitch, one misstep, and you were dead. Panic spread as contestants fought to stay still, breathless with fear, and those who ran for the gates, no mercy. The automated rifles cut them down without hesitation. This game is a brutal introduction to the world's deadliest competition, where the only way out was to win or die trying. Squid Game is a deadly twist on childhood innocence, turning simple games into life or death battles. So which challenge haunted you the most? Let us know in the comments, and if you thought these were brutal, just wait until you see what we rank next. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a spine-chilling countdown. See you soon.